to manage our diversity so behind. The second goal is production-centered economy driven by agriculture for food security, manufacturing, and export to move Nigeria from consumption to production. I'm sure you've heard that over and over from Mr. Peter Obi in his interactions with Nigerians. We're still trying to sort out.
Hello, good evening, all. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, great to have you, Mr. You're welcome to Spaces on the Hot Topic.
Thank you so much, all right. Thank you, Pearls, and thank you, Jamilu.
Wow, fantastic. So prior to your coming on board, we told our participants a bit of who you are because your resume is quite voluminous. So we had to compress it to just about 3 paragraphs, which would take a lot of creativity on our part. Mr. Valentine, today's conversation is on the changing landscape of the 2023 presidential elections. It means for once in the life of our country, Nigeria, we have a formidable third force that is poised to take over power. Mr. Ozigbo, you're a long-time ally of Mr. Peter Obi. As one who has been involved in his story and the campaign, can you give us a sense of who the man Peter Obi is and what his candidature means for Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Let me sincerely and warmly welcome all of you listening and all the other speakers to this Twitter space. To appreciate your sacrificing all you have this evening to join us. I am deeply grateful, honored to be hosting this, and thanks to again Oraya, Pearls, and Jamilu for playing the hosts. I want to also express how excited I am about a possibility of a new Nigeria. I don't think a lot of people could have imagined this level of enthusiasm and hope that Mr. Peter Obi is leading. If there's one thing that gives Nigerians the greatest amount of hope, this is it. Today, earlier this morning, I was in church and the preaching was about the Advent, the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. But while the preacher was busy preaching that, my mind was just how excited about the incoming of the new president. And I just felt, without any attempt to blaspheme, that the next thing that I feel Nigerians would welcome with all their heart and mind is the coming of Mr. Peter Obi. That's how just my mind shifted, and that's how excited I am. And your question is about the man Peter Obi. I've had the privilege of not just knowing him, getting close to him, being his friend, but also campaigning with him, being on the trenches of politics. And of course, also being blackmailed alongside him. People would even say to you then, it was because of Peter Obi's support for Valentine that he lost the election. So we've had those moments together. So I am in a position to say one or two things directly, expressing my experience with him that can help us understand him more. And to talk about Peter Obi, especially in the context of this election in the land, in the level of out-of-school enrollment, the level of unemployment, the level of insecurity, life basically having no meaning anymore. People just committing all manner of criminality, and even worse, nobody being held accountable. And when you then go into the issue of corruption, all-time high, where people actually who steal money go to a particular family in terms of party, and you're forgiven, your sins are forgiven. And we talk about Nigeria not meeting OPEC quota. You talk about the subsidy. When you talk about all of this, that is the problem. And then we'll go into building to last, building the systems, making sure that Nigeria, becomes the true giant, which will be independent of whatever the personality of the incoming presidents in the future will be. How do we build Nigeria and Nigerian institutions to last? How do we even build Nigeria that people can be proud of? How do we ensure that this country is unified? And when you define what I call the JD, what should be our next president, who Peter Obi is, you will see why he is such a perfect match. He is precisely the man that Nigerians need today. Why so? Because the person of Peter Obi, his personality, his character, his level of emotional intelligence, his integrity. The man is somebody you consider personable. You will come to like and admire because of his level of humility. His humility is unparalleled. He come to serve. And this is why he had to do all he had to do to succeed, to leave a legacy, and still left a whole lot of money behind, abandoned his entitlements just to make sure that Anambra people succeed. And just also make sure that that legacy that he's yearning for, he lives. So when also people talk about this amount of money he has left, I want to put that in context. I'm using this to emphasize his character and his drive. Because if you don't get this right, a lot of other things that would sacrifice anything to succeed. And that is why the masses of Nigerians love him. He has become the hero of our time. He has achieved what no Nigerian has ever achieved, building such a large movement that we're all excited about. That's why some of us are also in this sacrificially. It's not about what we're going to get or make. It's not about an appointment. It's not about, but rather a quest for a better Nigeria. So Peter Obi became the best governor, in my reckoning, Nigeria has ever produced. Why? Because he came, he listened, he learned, he executed, and he left legacy. He didn't know, I'm sure, the meaning of MDG before. But the moment he came on board, God introduced him to it, he learned it, and became a champion on it. Became the #1 state in terms of MDG. This is so important. Millennium Development Goal, the things that are important, education, health, and also lifting people out of poverty. Once you get these three mixed properly, trust me, that is already a game changer for Nigeria. Yeah, we will also come to the issue of physical infrastructure, but this is the game changer. Let's get our people well educated and let's get healthcare better improved, and let's get us uplifted out of poverty, the per capita income. So what I'm saying therefore is, if he could achieve #1, and for a state that was debt-ridden, that was involved in crisis, And he solved the insecurity issues in Anambra State and left a whooping sum of over 75 billion. In today's, if you change this $150 million and over 30 billion naira into naira today, you can see the amount of money a governor left behind. And in leaving behind, he didn't say, let's just share half of it and leave some behind. No, he left everything behind. He actually denounced everything that he ought to be entitled to. His severance package he abandoned. And up till today, not a single penny is being paid to him as a former governor. Who does that? Our other candidates, can we say the same thing of them? We know the answer. It is so obvious. This man went to SEC as the chairman. They gave him his entitlements. They listed his entitlements that ran into almost 400 million with cars and all of that. He rejected them. This is not something that if he had taken, he will be a candidate of EFCC. No, this is his normal entitlement according to the policy of the institution. He said to them, I'm only here to serve. I'm not here to enrich my, even the sitting allowance take. I will come to any meeting, and once the meeting is over, and this way, he's able to put to bear the independence of his mind. So he's not coming with a conjured, because somebody has bribed him. No, you can't. This man will come with that singularity of purpose to do what is right. This is who Peter Obi is. Please ask Nigerians, can you give me one name that you can compare with this man? No wonder he is leading the movement, the highest movement ever seen. I believe in this planet Earth. What is happening in Nigeria goes beyond what Obama did. What's happening in Nigeria goes beyond what has ever happened in this country. And it's a time to be excited about being a Nigerian. And let me shift away from the issue of his character and his drive. So also talk about the party that he represented. I am so excited that I left PDP, where I am supposed to be one of the leaders, to join Labour Party, where I don't even know if I have any leadership role. What I'm saying is, in PDP, as a governorship candidate, clearly, you wouldn't do anything in my state without involving me. We're priding ourselves being the dominant and all of that. And of course, if you come to Anambra, APC literally does not exist. PDP actually used to be very popular. But Peter Obi and myself were actually the real backbone. The moment we left, go back to PDP there. But that's not the issue for today. The point here is, in Labour Party, you see sanity. Yes, again, Labour Party is not perfect. But when you look at the ideology, when you look at the things that bring us together as a people, Peter Obi will have a sanity of mind to do what is right. When you have gladiators, monsters, and all kinds of human beings in a party, like APC and PDP would boast of, for you to, I did my primary in PDP in Anambra State in June. By July, by August, by September, by October, we were still managing monsters in Anambra PDP. You have to placate them, you have to beg them, I was in court until I got to Supreme Court twice, but I beat them. I beat the hell out of them. Why am I saying this? The trauma of trying to serve from a wrong party is enough to derail you, no matter how good you are. Peter Obi is coming from a party that will give us sanity. Yes, like I say, no party is perfect, But you cannot compare the imperfection in Labour Party with the criminality that happened, that we're already seeing the signs. You don't need anybody to tell you what's happening there. They can tell you. In fact, the amount of money you will use to bribe, especially from these governors, this leadership of PDP is enough, and APC as well, is enough for you to run the entire Labour Party in 1 year. To bring one person, that's how monstrous the evil and criminality in these parties are. And so, being such a great person and great personable, great interpersonal, great high level of emotional intelligence, great everything, great. But finding yourself in a wrong party can spoil that greatness. You need the combination of those two. And thank God Peter Obi can say to have ticked the boxes. The process of your emergence is also important. This is home, grassroots driven, people oriented, everything good is about this project. Where people, if there's anybody that will take credit of Peter Obi's emergence, number one would be God Almighty. And number two would be people of Nigeria. Even Peter Obi cannot claim credit. He can't. It's Nigerians coming together, the best of Nigerians, by the way, because we know where the worst of Nigerians are. And so the process of emergence is also very crucial. It is important because if you're that type of person who is desperate, those who will even go to shrine and swear to an oath and bury Bible and Quran, and so that if anybody does, they will. People do all kinds of things because they're desperate, but that's not the process. You can see how much was distributed in the primaries of APC and PDP. And when people have invested all this amount of money, most of them stolen, the tendency is to make all those money back and manage in all these gladiators in a way that would derail again you. So you need to be the right person in the true definition of right person. And that right person consists of a lot of things: character, drive, competence, capacity, commitment, compassion, being in the right party, and also coming through a right process. And then we'll take it to the next, which is the messaging, the commitment, the promise, the manifesto, the blueprint, the deliverables, the expectations of people. And this is where Peter Obi also trumps every other person on this race, to the extent that just to do an ordinary debate, others are shunning away. They are scared shit out of everything in them. Who can be on a podium to tell you the problems of Nigeria, to tell you the comparatives with developing and developed and undeveloped economies of the world, to tell you how each of these countries have moved, what they did to move, and how we're prepared to do equally and more to move and catch up. To tell you the how of the deliverable. They used to criticize him, he talks about the problem. No, of course, because he always starts by enumerating the problem. Some of them have also short memory. They forget that he adds the solutions to the problem, to how to conquer those issues. And let me tell you this, when a man makes a promise to you, please don't focus on the promise, focus on the character of that man. I don't care that anybody can tell me 1,000 things he can do. If that person cannot be trusted, that 1,000 things reduces to zero. I would rather the man who I can trust telling me less things, and how much more when he's been telling me enough things. Peter Obi, in terms of trust quotient, is miles above the other candidates. Ask even those who support the other candidates. They don't trust them. Some even support them in fear because they know, oh, if you don't support me, your business is gone. If you don't support me, I will come after you. That's the reason some of them support. They tell us, they come back, please, oh, I'm obedient, but you know I have to be there, otherwise I'm finished. We hear things like that. So what I'm saying to you is, Peter Obi ticks the right boxes, and Peter Obi's leaders have been sent to the other camps. The old people equally, the leaders. In fact, I used to lose confidence in the people of the older people. I used to have little respect because when I used to always talk about what did you do when Nigeria started derailing? I hold you guys responsible. You have eaten away the future of the Nigerian youths. It's part of the reason I joined the NSAS movement, because I was opposing the cumulative effect of bad leadership we suffered. But now, when I look at some older people, I now come to a conclusion that we still have living legends among them. When I hear the likes of Padebanjo, today he is my living legend. I would do everything to celebrate that man anytime I have the opportunity to do so, because he stands on principle, because he doesn't just stand, he walked the talk. At 94, to inconvenience himself, or when you listen to Pa Clark, Edwin Clark, some of them actually still believe that the reason God has kept them alive is because of this period, this project, this moment. You can't listen to them without shedding tears. The genuinity, oh my God, Nigerian spirit is alive. I am excited. And there are many. When you listen to Dr. Beatrice Pogu or the likes of Dan Suleiman, there are several people who you know and God sent to Nigeria. And they all are embracing this project. I can also boast of other supports, but let me not talk too much. I am excited because for the first time, true Nigerians are unified on one single accord. It has never happened before. The youngsters don't care about the tribal politics we play. They don't care about religious politics we play. And that is why, I will go into the zonal analysis and all of that of the trend so far. But I am proud, I'm honored to be a member of the team driving this project. And I have to thank a lot of people who are leading this charge, from the national chairman of Labour Party to the DJ of the campaign, to the campaign manager, Oselo Kobaze, to the entirety of the team who are sacrificing everything that they have to see that we succeed. God will not only bless this project, He will bless each and every one of us. The support groups, you have done incredible things, but this is not me. I'm not in the position to give these thanks. The principal has been doing that, and I think he is in the right position to do so. But I am thankful to God that I'm witnessing what I'm seeing in Nigeria of today. This is the reason a lot of people are even slowing down the quest to abandon Nigeria totally. This is why a lot of diasporans are eagerly awaiting what is going to become of a new Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Valentine Ozigbo. That was really touching, quite detailing of the person of Mr. Peter Obi. I'm sure people are taking notes. I'm very sure these things are percolating hearts and minds, not just within Nigeria, but across the globe, giving you very unique insights as to the person of Mr. Peter Obi. Pearls, are you there?
Absolutely, I'm here. Thank you so very much, Mr. Valentine, for that. So, before I go ahead, I'm getting lots of messages from people asking when they will be able to engage you. So, guys, we will open the floor real quick for everyone to be able to engage Mr. Valentine. But before we get to that, we have some questions for him. So, Mr. Valentine, I know that today, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is considered by many as the front runner in the 2023 elections. Can you just give us an insight, like a sense of how this was achieved, given that Labour Party was never considered capable by the establishment of pulling this off, because it came as a huge surprise to everyone, the kind of support he's getting. So do you want to just give us a sense of how this was achieved?
All right, thank you. If I tell you that I know, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think God finally has answered, is answering the prayers of Nigerians. The only way to describe what is going on, that the hand of God is at work. That's the simplest way to describe this, that the hand of God, otherwise, who could have imagined? Let me tell you, I believe that even Peter Obi could not have imagined this level. In fact, when I listen to him talk about where he thinks he will get to by end of September, by end of October, by end of November, by end of December, we're even hoping we're going to be top 3 by end of December. But by September, he was only number 1. So he has no clue how we got here. I think first thing is success happens when opportunity meets with preparedness. I think Peter, without even knowing, had prepared himself all along, and an opportunity struck, and the two coming together is giving us success. That's number 2, beyond the God factor. This is very important. And number 3, I'm also fully convinced that Nigerians are tired. Nigerians are angry, and Nigerians reject the status quo. And the status quo is defined by a combination of PDAPC. You know what I mean? It is 2 parties in one. That is the status quo that Nigerians reject. And so there's a lot of wonderful people in those sides. They're caught in the web. What I tell them, some of them who are running for election, please, see if you can abandon your project and just come and join the light. When you see darkness, my people, this adage, you don't leave where they are celebrating and you start going to where they're making sacrifices for rituals and all of those nonsense. So basically, I know some people have better translation of this, but you can't leave the light and you're in pursuit of darkness. The reality is that PDP and APC have failed Nigerians. And the type of people that are also their candidates today, unfortunately. And so Peter Obi represents the new. Represents the new possibility, represents the new Nigeria. And that's why he is leading a groundswell of grassroots movement. And this election will be determined by the youth, the youthful energy, their conviction, their quest for a better Nigeria, their actions, their anger, because the fear on the other camps are tremendous. When you check to see what is going on, even in the Twitter space, the social media space, and traditional media space, without people to be spending the kind of money these people are spending, you need to combine the performance of these two to come even, it wouldn't even be half of performance of Peter Obi. That's the level of insight, the level of, performance that we're seeing. And therefore, the key driver of this election will be the youths. But when you actually look at the other demographics, you can see that Peter Obi is dominating too. Among the women, he's dominating. Among the civilized, he's dominating. In fact, the people that are even giving some ray of hope, which is very little, are those who haven't gone to school, who may not be able to understand fully the man Peter Obi yet. But our responsibility is to take the message to them, because we know when this is done, and that's part of what we need to talk about, some of them here openly and some privately. So you can't actually learn about all of the people side by side without pitching your tent on the side of Peter Obi. So when you now bring, there's a lot more that unites us than what people just trump up to keep the status quo going. So I say to you, the Peter Obi being front runner today is a combination of many things. It's a combination of God factor. It's a combination of who Peter Obi is. It's a combination of preference of the new over the old. It's also resolved by the youths, the leaders of ethnic nationalities, the former leaders of Nigeria who are tired of status quo, those who really mean well. And am I talking about the diasporans? If you cast votes in the diaspora, Peter Obi will get 90%. The rest of the 17 candidates will struggle with 10% remaining. That's what I've seen.
Like those who go out there to monitor votes, and just to make sure that
those are vote canvassers.
Exactly, make sure that everything goes, the way it should go on that particular day. Because I know when I used to live in Nigeria, I used to see those party agents monitoring votes, to me, also they also stated to convince people to vote for their parties. So I don't know if Labour Party, if we have all these things in place. So thank you. Those are just my questions.
Thank you very much.
Do we have some more questions before I then respond?
No, I think you should take this one. I think you should take this one.
Okay. Okay, let me deal with these ones.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. My brother Akune Sobike, I salute you. The first is basically a regional analysis to know how we're faring. I think the best way to honestly understand what is going on is to look at the latest poll that came out from next year. Our next year group is a group that's been consistent in what they do. All six of them, I feel, he is guaranteed of his spread in those 6 states at a minimum. Now, with that, let's now shift our mind to the areas that people consider us weak. The Northwest, the good news is, even a 3 much, some of us know that the anger in people's mind is going to be bigger and better than vote buying. For those who will engage in vote buying, they can see that their money may not yield any. In fact, the message, and this is what everybody should be ready, the message on election day is take your money back from these guys. It's the money that is stole from you that God is making them pay you back. So take the money and still go ahead in that your bid to change Nigeria and vote right, period. So we will send that message. I will shout it to the rooftop. Everybody will say it. And by the time it becomes a song everywhere, their money will mean nothing. So please, we need income redistribution. Instead of packing this money in bullion vans, let them spread it. Thank God even they're bringing new notes. So if they know where they're hiding those money, bring them out now and let it go around Nigeria. So what I'm saying basically is I don't think that vote buying would change, alter what we're doing. So we don't have to engage in criminality and fraudulent practice because of this election. But
No, sorry,
I
sir.
don't speak
Sorry.
for. I don't speak for. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't speak for Labour Party. So at the appropriate time, we will also have them on Twitter Spaces, so they can. But you can also be rest assured, nobody discusses their strategy in an open environment like this. You want to say something, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just wanted to correct an impression. I wasn't in any way suggesting that we should engage in vote buying. I was only asking if there is something we plan doing about that. That's all. That's all I wanted to know. Not that I was suggesting that we should.
Okay. I thank you for that. Okay, so I've also responded to you. Yes, what we're gonna do is use counter messaging to demean whatever the value of that vote buying if they're so engaged. So everybody will be prepared. Me and you will need to work hard to convince the rest of the voters that if you decide to collect money, if you can withhold not collecting the money, fine, fantastic. But if you don't want to resist the money, collect the money and like they say, it's waka, beat them waka and move on. Party agents are clearly every party of repute, of meaning, of substance would typically have their party agents. And we do have a strategy. I'm sure we are ready because we're going to submit the agents anyway to INEC, upload them, and the process is already ongoing to assemble these agents and possibly train them and get them to understand their responsibilities on the election day so we can, first of all, get out votes. Number two, be there to make sure people vote. Number three, be there to make sure votes are counted. And number four, to make sure the votes are uploaded and transmitted before they leave any agent out of the hooks. So we will insist that things are done and done well. So this is the message. Sometimes we think we need to wait until big training. This is it. Even if this is the first time you're hearing this type of thing, hear it now, pass the message on. We will need our people trained to make sure that, number one, they get a lot of people, please go out and vote, go out and vote, go out and vote. That is important. Number two, be sure they have voted, so that if they have electronic issues, internet issues, let's make sure we solve them. A lot of times, if it means using your phone to hotspot, make sure that, so that let votes happen. Number three, you're going to be there for votes to be counted because it's important. So you can say, you can record it and can snap it, you can video it and all that. Number four, insist, transmit. Open the BVAS machine there. You see, transmitted, success, fantastic. Then we're ready to go. Because once you get it right at the polling unit level, we are totally right at the end of the spectrum. So that is it for you, Akunestebike. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Valentine. Pels, I think you should call more people to ask questions. In the meantime, there's a tweet just above your screen. You would see a tweet by Aisha Yusufu, putting out the bank names and numbers of the Labour Party for campaign donations. Please, we are taking every opportunity we have to raise funds for the campaign. So much as you can, no amount is too small. Please take advantage of the opportunity and add your own, add your voice and your mouth to what affects your destiny, as it were. Pels, please go ahead now.
Thank you very much, Oraye. So yes, guys, that tweet is on the Jumbotron, so do well to put your money where your voice is. So real quick, And when you're done asking questions, please can you step down so we can bring all the people up here, because we have lots and lots of people requesting. So we've had a guy ask a question. I'll pass the mic over now to a lady. Hello, Grace. How are you doing today?
Yes, hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Valentine. My name is Grace, and I live in Norway, and I'm also part of the Obidati group here in Norway. I just have two questions because the first speaker has already had some of the things I've been worried about. First is because we've been saying that a lot of support group in the north, they are complaining about not having campaign materials. And like what you said, this is the area we really need to work on. And I also believe that as well, just as like the Obi support group in Norway, they supported the Southern Kaduna people with 5,000 posters and some stickers. So what are the plans of the Labour Party, to actually support these young people in the north that are ready to work and to mobilize people and to synthesize people, but they don't have campaign materials, and they are really complaining about posters, that they need posters. That's my first question. And the second one, you talk about the election in Lagos. Obi is winning the election. You see, I was part of the Presidential Campaign Council in the last election under diaspora in the PDP. And I know what happened in Lagos during election day in the most populated area of the Igbos. So what is the plan of the Labour Party? Because that day, the truth is that their strategy is to go to where Obi will have the most votes and go and disrupt them, to disrupt them, disorganize them. So what are the plans of the Labour Party to what is going to happen in Lagos on election day? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Let me come in here, Lady Grace. If we tell you what the strategy is today as to how we intend to combat aggression on election day, don't you think they will change their strategy? I don't know.
Okay, don't worry. No, don't worry. Don't worry.
People had a plan in mind to that. So if you tell me, yes, there is a strategy in mind, there is a plan, to that, I'm fine with that.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you. So let me start off with the comment from Oraye about the support, because that comment also actually speaks to the first question from Grace. We need a lot of support for this project. Believe it or not, a lot of what you've been seeing from Peter Obi has actually been his personal resources he's deploying, and nobody runs an election like that. Of course, we're also aware loads of sacrifice a lot of people have made, especially when we were conducting those marches and all that. And it got to a point that people started being lethargic, but we can't give up. We have less than 90 days to the election. Whatever we have to do, I believe we can get up to 1 million people who can give 10,000 naira a month to the end of this project. This is the right time to get it done. Please go to obidaticampaign.com. obidaticampaign.com. Donate handsomely and consistently. This way, we're able to have enough to provide the campaign materials that Grace is talking about for the North. This way, we're able to engage in more logistics, in more radio adverts, in several things demand money. Please do so now. Yes, we started late, but it's better late than never. And reason, we've been careful. Initially, when Mr. Peter Obi was traveling to sensitize those in diaspora, they started saying, oh, it's being funded by foreign people. Meanwhile, he went to those trips, came home with nothing. And because of fear, because we know we're being targeted, so we're being extra cautious. What I'm saying to you now, please go obidaticampaign.com. And if you also wish to support the Labour Party, go to labourparty.com.ng. And then there's also a group that is driving the project to see that we conquer the North handsomely. You go to obidati.support. and sign on to the Town Hall app. There's a Town Hall app on Android, and there you can see how you can aggregate the several things we are doing. We're planning, leveraging technology. Don't forget, my office is, special advice on technology and strategic alliances. So if you go to any of these handles, obidaticampaign.com, labourparty.com.ng, or obidati.support, you will find ways you can support creditably for this election, for us to succeed ultimately. So that's what I would say in that regard. So Grace, I will pass your message to the leadership of the campaign council. I know a lot is being planned, so they can speed things up and make sure campaign materials go around, especially in places we need them most, in northern Nigeria, northwest and northeast. We're not also going to forget the rest of the zones. And then about your comments about election in Lagos, yes, we know what happened. We know who truly won that election, and we know how things were done. But the good news is that Peter Obi is not an Igbo candidate. Peter Obi is a Nigerian candidate. So it's no longer a case where they will concentrate on where Igbos are most. No, if we want to concentrate on the whole of Lagos, and that's too difficult for them to do. Because in every part of Lagos, we have obedience. In every family, we have obedience. So we will dominate in every polling unit in Lagos. And when that is done, no amount of thoughts and violence can shift the scenario. Let me just stop at that for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much, sir, for that very apt response. So real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Benjamin. After Benjamin, we'll have Anna. So over to you, Benjamin. You've got 2 minutes.
Just before you start, let me encourage our participants to please share this space. We need more people to hear what's happening here. So kindly take some time to share the space on your accounts, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, that's right, guys. We need to really share this space on our timelines using the hashtag 2hours with VCO. We want more people in here because we need to engage. We need a lot more people to learn from this very wonderful conversation going on here. So please, guys, take out time, share this space on your timeline. I'm appealing from the bottom of my heart. So over to you, Benjamin. You've got 2 minutes.
Thank you, everybody. I want to thank the host, Ms. Pearl, and His Excellency, Mr. Valentine Ozibo. I want to say thank you for coming here today to talk with us. And I just want us to know, we Nigerians, and I have two questions. The first guy that asked the question actually asked the question indirectly, but I also want to place the question very well. So we have some states that we tag in statistics that they are swing states. And those swing states, we are having issues of campaigning there, especially in those states where I came from, and the governor decided to punish us by not allowing us to place any billboard. But we devised another means by producing mini billboard and using wooden to erect those billboard in all the 18 local government, which we started last week. Now, we have also started a project in the northern part of the country, which is most vital region for us. And those things we are passing through there is very, very horrible. They don't allow us to use to air any jingle on any radio station. They don't even allow us to place anything that has to do with advert on any public places and all that. We know that you guys are very, very busy, but if there are strategies that we can also use, or even if there's any way you guys can help us so that we can pass those materials to the people in the villages, in local community that are not having access to electronic and medias and Twitters and all that, so that we can actually do that. Like last week, me and my organization, we printed 250,000 billboard, and 200 is going to the northern part of the country because that is one of the most swing states where we have most swing states, and that is for that. Like I said, like you said from the beginning,
I'm so sorry to interject, Benjamin. Do you just want to round up in a minute because we
yeah,
have
a
lots?
minute is yeah, a minute is too small. A minute is okay. Sorry, I just want you to know that we are doing all we can. We have stayed in the darkness for very too long, and we have beginning to see the light through Peter Obi. Our future rests on the shoulder of Mr. Peter Obi. That is why we are doing this. Sir. Please, if you can just throw more light into that, if there is any way that we can come in and place those billboard and other campaign materials, I think that would be best for us. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Benjamin. I like this comment. I like the question. I also like the ingenuity that you guys are coming up with in solving the problem, like the one you've highlighted in Edo. We will always keep looking for new ways of succeeding. I don't believe in people giving excuse for failure. Uh, just figure out ways to succeed and let's tell the story. And that's what makes us, that's why this project is what it is. It's a shock to the old order. They don't know where to start from. No matter what they try to throw at us, it's not sticking. And so well done and well done and well done. Thank you for what you guys are doing. And there are a lot of ways we can collaborate, build synergy, and succeed, especially as regards the northern part. I'm happy that someone like Ibrahim Abdul Karim is also on this listening and also one of the speakers. I would suggest that two of you get to talk. He is highly, highly connected. We have actually secured enough sufficient, and of course, we can always do more radio schedules in the north. And so I see a lot can be achieved if both of you can collaborate. So, so we should try and share contacts after this call, and we'll take it from there. So basically, let's keep inventing new ways of doing things so that when they try to stop us, we are already 3 or 4 steps ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Val. So, guys, moving on real quick, I'd like to appeal that we stick to one question each, and I'll give everyone just 1 minute because of the sheer number of people we have requesting for the mic. So it's gonna be 1 minute and one question, please. So over to you, Anna. Hi, Anna. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Izibo. Good evening. Has Benjamin left? Good evening, Mr. Raye, and good evening to everybody.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Benjamin, I came in because of your question. The billboard is a good idea, but the problem is states like Edo, Ebonyi, Imo, the governors have made it clear on national television that they are going to frustrate a Shali Labour Party. Please, I will advise you send those billboards to the north. What they need at this area where they have the governors that have decided that Labour Party will not be posted everywhere is stickers for market women, rubber bands, because you cannot go to somebody's shop and put the shop down because they have a Labour Party stickers. On in Akwa Ibom is the same thing. In Calabar is the same thing because I talk to support groups in that area. So my own group where we are raising funds to send the materials, that is what we have decided. The governors have made it clear on national TV that they don't want to see any billboard. If you even put a billboard, they'll vandalize it. In Akwa Ibom, as I speak to you, in Ekotik Pene, they destroyed the billboard that they put yesterday. And billboards are so expensive. So my advice is send the billboard to the north. They're living in insecurity. Seeing Labour Party billboard means liberation for them. This area, they will not need it. Especially east and south is those bands, stickers for Okada, Keke in Ebonyi State. We've raised money to put stickers we've gone to market. It will be in churches, it will be inside the newsletter, it's going to be in all motor parks. So please, it's a good thing, but I wanted to raise this one because everybody is talking about billboards, and one billboard is 300,000 naira. It can actually print 10,000 stickers. So you can send the billboards to the north. In Lagos State, even you can't put a Labour Party this thing. By the time you put it in the morning, it's been destroyed. So let them know that there is no Labour Party. The Labour Party is in every house with stickers, with handbands, with aprons on market women in the market, motor parks, Okada riders. They have Labour Party stickers everywhere, even in taxis and Ubers. So the billboard can go to the north. They need it because of the distances, the space, the insecurity they're living in. But this area, the governors have decided to frustrate the party. So we've decided that we'll do Jehovah Witness evangelism with the bands, the stickers. So thank you. I just wanted to bring up this point to you, please. Because 3 people complained this morning from Akwa Ibom, from Calabar, and from Ebonyi State that their billboards have been destroyed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. And yes, indeed, he also confirmed that of the 250,000 that was printed, 200,000 were headed to the north. So he already understands the need to focus on the north. But those insights he shared also very wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for that very spot on suggestion. We really appreciate that. So I'm getting lots of messages from people who cannot see the mic. It happens sometimes. It's a glitch from Twitter. So you might just want to leave the space and return. You might be able to request for the mic if you do that. So moving on real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Gaboni. After Gaboni, I'm not seeing any lady on stage. I don't know what's going on. I don't like hosting spaces without ladies on stage. So if you're a lady here and you want to join in the conversation, please do well to request for the mic and I'll add you on real quick. So over to you, Gaboni. After Gaboni, we will have MJ Strack, Kwedo, Julian, and so on and so forth. Over to you, Gaboni. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you. Let me be real quick. First and foremost, before something that is very, our points for Mr. Peter Obi is doing like sometimes 6, 7, 8, 10 meetings in a day. Please, I think by the grace of God, he's going to be our president, and we need a very vibrant, he's vibrant, we know, but I think he should. How is he resting? Is he fine? Personally, I want to know: is he fine? Is he resting enough? Because he have to be. Because me, I'm even surprised that the rate at which his work rate is mad, is mind blowing, is unimaginable. So that's one of the first questions I want to ask: is he okay? Is he okay? Because this stress might be too much on him, and how is he feeling? That's one of the first questions I want to ask. That's now my main question is: the Labour Party, are they doing any effort in trying to charge INEC on this? How will I put it now? These people collecting people's PVC, to these allegations will be end of collecting PVC, duplicating it, and all these shenanigans these current governors are doing that are trying to bypass the INEC system. Because I hardly see a Labour Party as a party coming out to charge INEC. I think because seeing that the only way the APC can win this election or come out second is by rigging. You get the point, and because they don't stand the chance. So I think a Labour Party personally, I think they should be doing more in putting a kind of charge on INEC, for PGC, put fire for their yansh. You get the point. I'm not saying it enough, and I think they should do more in that respect so that INEC will know that nobody's keeping quiet and we know what is going on, and they should be aware that people are watching them. I yield the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaboni. Thank you for your concern. Yes, Peter B's work rate is incredible. Even for some of us who are younger, we marvel, and I think it's also out of conviction, out of love for this country. He also, something that used to happen, I had that as a personal experience. When you enter a class where a particular subject is being taught and you think you are weak on it, and you start to apply yourself to the fullest, you will not even know when you overtake those people who were comfortable. So Peter B knew at the beginning he was an underdog, here to topple big giants like APC and PDP. And therefore, he couldn't be working at the same rates as PDP and APC. They have governors, they have senators, they have unlimited money, they have all kinds of things going for them. And so the much he had was to overwhelm them with his presence. So he had to work triple, quadruple time. And so you can find him in 6 cities in one day. And thank God that God has given him the energy, the physical and mental energy to do so. And that also has helped to convince people, Nigerians, that he is the only one healthy enough to do this among the top candidates. So, but yes, we try to encourage him, push him to keep resting, because we know the importance of rest. So, but I will take your advice to him, and hopefully he can rest more. Especially now he's assured that Nigerians are watching his back, that some have even said, we don't need you to campaign anymore, just travel, we're just going to keep you somewhere abroad and just protect you there, and then we'll do the rest. But Peter Obi won't listen to that. He will be here to campaign and move around, and because he also loves doing those engaging, he loves engaging Nigerians, he loves being among his people. And he's also that kind of person that will ultimately lead by walking around. He will, this is one governor that went to the entire 21 local government in Anambra to sleep before his each of the 2 terms. So the same thing he plans to do. He's going to come to your village, he's going to come to your state as a president. So imagine that. And that's the only way he can get to know what people are experiencing in the every part of Nigeria. And the issue about INEC, people saying they're cloning, they want to clone PVCs and all that. Quite frankly, personally, I see some of those actions of frustrated people. They just don't know what else to do. Every single one of these parties, when they meet, all they're discussing is Labour Party. You can see even Jagaban doesn't go on social media anymore because of heart attack. So we are a big, big threat. So question for them is, how do they counter this? So they start doing things that don't even make meaning. Because even if you clone PVC, are you going to clone the hand that will come to that because it's biometrics? But anyway, it is possible they have some evil plans. But one thing I actually want to say is it is incumbent on us, the voting public, the support groups, the obedient family, to call out institutions. That way, we shield our party away from it, because INEC is a regulator. So you don't want where they start to see us as anti-INEC. I want to say this to say that it's actually us that will push the pressure on these agencies, whether it's security, whether it's INEC, whoever, so that way, because it is our responsibility. We are a citizen, and we demand transparency, we demand civility, we demand openness, we demand fairness, we demand equity, everything we demand. It is our right, it's our fundamental right. So I would say that when things like this, we need to first investigate. If there's any iota of truth, we should call out people involved, put them under pressure, so that they can even get them more frustrated. They can as well abandon the election altogether. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Val. And a whole lot of people have been very concerned about the welfare of His Excellency. Thank you for clearing the air on that. So real quick, guys, I'll pass the mic over to Ukweduan Stanley. I'm sorry if I murdered your name. Please, you have
You
one.
didn't. Good evening. You didn't murder my name, and I'm surprised you were able to pronounce the name. We from Edo State, we have some kind of funny names that people find hard to pronounce. It's Ukweduan Stanley, and you did fine. Good evening all. Good evening, Your Excellency, Mr. Val Ezigbo. I listened to you addressing the matter of vote buying, and I've always had that. That's exactly what I wanted to discuss here. So I heard you saying they should collect the money and vote their conscience. I'm very sorry, sir. That's one issue I am really having, because I have observed elections since like 2007 in this country. I've gotten to find out that in these rural areas, polling units are there, but there are no polling booths. So in polling booths, when somebody in the polling unit, when somebody pays you to vote for his or her candidate, they condition you to the point that you have to show evidence that you voted for the candidate. So with this, I'm saying we should please stop spreading that narrative, collect the money and vote, especially knowing that INEC had to provide polling booths, but they won't provide these polling booths. Sir, would it be right that individuals construct polling booths at the polling unit closest to them? Because to me, as a person, Peter Obi is my candidate, and I'm doing everything as a coordinator in LMA local government in Port Harcourt for Peter Obi Support Network. I know on ground, I don't need any statistics from any organized organization or recognized organization to tell me that the man will win the election. I know. You go to the market to campaign for them, they tell you, don't tell me anything if it's not Peter Obi, but we know these people really want something. And these parties, big parties, are waiting for towards the election time to spend. So these people on election day, if they are giving money, sir, they will vote for who paid, because they will be monitored. Will it be right that we construct polling booths for each polling unit? Because I don't see INEC bringing polling booths to rural areas. They will bring it to the place where international medias are present. But the rural areas are more than those places. That said, sir, I am also asking, I got to find out that from polling units, they are to publish results to the INEC server, but it is not going straight to the viewing server. There's a junction, and from there it will be published to the viewing server. We don't know who is going to monitor those people at that place where it will be published from the polling units. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, my brother. As a matter of fact, what you just shared will be one of the takeaways of our conversation tonight. It will require further engagement, further thinking. But one thing I want to say is you'll never actually find one solution that fits all. To succeed, you have a combination of solutions. So there are places that the message of take the money and vote your conscience would work. But you're also pointing that there are instances that may not work, because these guys can actually follow you, monitor you, to the extent that you have to do their bidding if you have taken the money from them. Remember, so we need to now expand this into three. Number one, please, if you can resist collecting the money at all, go and vote your conscience. That's the first message. That's the first message. But we also know, because of the hunger in the land, we can preach this message. You see them being tempted to collect this money. And that's why the second part comes in. Okay, if you must collect the money, but still go ahead and vote your conscience. And then the third part is for those people that want to hound them to vote their own person of choice. Good news is that Peter Obi and his team and the obedient movement are likely to be dominating every polling unit. So you have people there that can protect you there, even if you resist. But the next message now is, do we need to make sure that polling booths are provided on an ad hoc basis if INEC has failed to do so? It is the responsibility of INEC to provide polling units in all over 180,000 polling units, approximately 180,000 polling units. So, but if that is not done, should we have a plan B? We will take this back and discuss further and come back. And similarly, what you said about the stopgap before we get to the viewing server. So we have a lot of people who are working in these areas. We will take this feedback and we'll come back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Val. Jamilu, welcome back. Good to have you back here. So moving on real quick, I'll pass the mic over to Ibrahim. After Ibrahim, we'll have MJ Strack and then Julian. Ibrahim, over to you.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Val. Well done, well done, well done. We've been keeping you. All right, my senior colleague. Well done for having us all. Yeah. So I will go quickly. My own is just to portray some of the things that Mr. Val is saying, more especially when you are thinking of protest campaign and the kind of campaign we want to run for. It's a campaign that we can even use 2 weeks just to win. So people should not be too worried. First thing is that they are all over the network, all over internet, telling us that Obi cannot wait, because that's their slogan. Once they tell you that, then you feel that you don't have to waste your vote. That's why we have to keep encouraging ourselves that in every poll that we have, in every statistics they have done, in anything they have done, Mr. Peter Obi is winning. They have never reached out to anything that shows that they are going to win. That's the problem they're having today. And you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their actions, and all the people they have seen on the Twitter, on the Facebook, who do all the posting, they are doing their bidding of their what we call in the North Megida, that's their own godfathers. They just want to protect their food, their essays, their PAs, and they just want to just continue with the status quo. So you don't have to be too worried about them. It's for us to take back our country. That's just the decision we have made. And we have to see Mr. P.O. and Dati Ahmed as just the people that we are putting in front of us to assist us to do what we want to do. It's our own work. It's not their work. They are just being in front for us. Mr. Val are just trying to be in front for us. This is our own project. This is our own work to do. So what I just want us to do as young people is that we have to keep the speed. We have to keep the knowledge. We have to bring the information. We are not supposed to be coming here. They're supposed to come here and listen to us. Listen to the beautiful things we are planning, the beautiful things that we are putting in place, what we want to achieve. What we just want clearance from them. We want them just to pat us on the back and say, you guys are doing well. So all the time we're supposed to let, this is our own work, but we need some people that are going to lead us towards where we are going to, but we are going to march behind them. So this is what is called the obedient movement. That's what, even in the North here, a lot of people are keen into it. What we just need is we need presence, as Jamilu said, we need more talking, we need more radio program, as Benjamin is saying. We just have to be very, very loud. Every other person in Nigeria, he's already feeling that he needs a new Nigeria. We are working in Zamfara, we are working on gold. In other places, we have a lot of minerals. We have the vast land. We have everything. We're not supposed to be hungry. That's the information we're supposed to be telling even those people, those guys that are going to be giving money. Because the idea is that the presidential candidate of APC and PDP are not the ones that are going to distribute this money. The people that are going to now buy the vote or do the dirty job is us. It's our people. We know them. They are among us. We have to reach out to them, talk sense into their head. Go to their what is called Majlisa in northern Nigeria, or beer palo that we drink with them. Talk to them. We know them. We know their friends. We know their families. How much are you going to get out of this? Assume they are going to give you 50 million. Are you going to use that 50 million for the next 4 years? You are not even going to get that 50 million. What about if they had kidnappers or bandits kidnap you? How much are you going to spend for that? What about if you go to hospital? How much are you going to spend for that? If the dollar continue to raise, how is that money going to change what you have collected? So I think the idea is that let's keep talking to their conscience. You will see them, they will collect this money and still work for us. That's the idea. Everybody is tired of the direction this country is going to. I know a lot of serving governors in APC. They are not happy with their presidential candidate. They are even ashamed for them to have that as a presidential candidate. They are even envying us having Mr. Peter Obi as our own presidential candidate. This is a movement. It's our movement. So, and the idea of us, we have to hybrid this system, online, offline. We can see almost 800 of us here. We're supposed to see how we are going to go to that OBIDO support. Go to the town hall and register yourself into your own polling unit. If you are the only one, you now notice that you are the only one. Then you check your ward. If you check your ward, you see how many of you in that ward. If you don't see anybody, go and check your local government. How many of you in that local government? Then you start to now mobilize and cascade, and mobilize and cascade. You are online. You are still doing your activities offline. So that's mean this weekend you can tell yourself in your polling unit or in your ward, let's meet at primary school so that we can discuss what is our own strategy around this place. What is lacking in this place? How many posters do we did? How many radio stations? How many OB programs we supposed to do? So you've been online holding your phone, but you are doing still offline. Then if you are abroad, out of the country, you invite others to enter. You see them on the town hall. Then you monitor their activities. Give them what you want to give them. As they do it, they upload the pictures. Because why we want to test the town hall is that during the election time, you understand? Maybe a week to election, we're supposed to conduct like a mock polling so that we understand our strengths, get our agents to be familiar of what we are going to use on reporting, and also to be familiar with what they are going to use to assist the INEC, so that we combine the offline activities and see how best we can do. This is the only chance we have. 2023 is our last chance. There's nothing we can do. We just have to continue the fight we start. We know this bad government. We know these people. We know how they are. If these people are taking the same amount of crude oil in a day with Nigerians, you know how the amount of money these people are having? If they take care, if the foreign revenue is in their pocket, the custom is in their pocket. If the what do you call it, NCC is in their pocket, do you know the amount of money these people are having? So we are not going to lose our guard. What we need is just to mobilize. It works in Kenya, it works in Malaysia, it works in Malawi.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so
Let
sorry.
me
I don't know
just.
where that sound was coming from, but Mr. Val, you can go ahead, please.
Yes. Thank you, AK Ibrahim. Thank you. The key takeaway from what Ibrahim was saying is this town hall app. Please, if you're on Android or iOS, please try and download the app. I signed on to the app and it was actually fantastic. This is what it does. When you sign on, by the time you put your state of or residence, put your local government, put your ward, and you also add your polling units, it aggregates you in a town hall. So you can choose to start conversation and be part of conversation in your polling units. You can choose to do that in your ward. You can choose to do that in your local government. So that way, you don't just have a medium that talks about all the issues at the same time. You don't know which one it's referring to. So you can suddenly see, I have 10 people in my polling unit, 20, and that's where you start conversing. So you're meeting online, and even when you meet offline, you bring that offline meeting to the online. So it's a very unique app that I actually found very interesting. So it's going to help us. That's actually where we can raise issues very quickly, escalate issues, especially on the election day. So the earlier we can begin to adopt this type of app, the better. I know there are a lot of other apps that people are pushing, but this will go a long way in helping us converse, build synergy, build alignment, understand each other, plan better, execute better, and eventually protect our votes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Val. So before I move on to the next speaker, I have a couple of questions from people here who are responding to this space for you. So one of the questions is from Ojinaka to Isiagu. Please tell Mr. Val that PDP goes around Southeast villages telling them that PO is still with PDP and working with Atiku. Then Victor KB, K Baba Live, said, please ask Mr. Val, what are we going to do about opposition parties for not adhering to the peace accord, especially people like Reno, for their ethnic remarks and divisive comments. And then we have Godwin Ibadan, who says, let's also make sure the polling agents are trained to check and be sure the Beavers machines are zeroed before accreditation. Do you want to respond to that, or you want me to just finish up because you have like 5 more? Do you want to
Go
respond
ahead
to
and finish up more.
Okay, great. So from Ede Theophilus, he said, I have always advised that the preaching or advocate of collect your money if offered and vote your conscience to be discarded. Please, we should stop selling this narrative. From Ambassador for Good Governance, Ijele Best said, my question, please, is what are we doing about the material? People are lacking material for grassroots mobilizations. And then we have another one from Ede Theophilus who said, there's no way you can advance the campaign without the subject, which is Mr. Peter Obi. People are interested in Peter Obi's character, consistency, and ability to deliver based on his previous results as a former governor. Then we have Honorable Josie Ibe who says, please, can the obedience movement start live video coverages of all events? Please, how can this be achieved? Live video coverage is key. And then lastly, no, second to the last, we have UC Me who said, I think a poll should be conducted. Only party without the candidate's name. That would also help us know if the people also know the right party that Peter Obi is in. And then Mathiza Moses says, I wish more campaign materials are sent to Benue State. The people are very zealous to go to the hinter areas and campaign aggressively. And then, I'm sorry, this is the last one we have from, I'm sorry, real quick, we have this last one from Ella. She said, the Peter Obi message of cost management, consumption to production, being incorruptible, frugality, and simplicity should be pushed in the North. You should also let them know your plans for youth employment, agricultural, and educational transformation of the North every day in the radio. So, do you want to respond to all this real quick before we go ahead, Mr. Val?
Yeah, thank you so much. Some of them are actually comments to be noted. Some require response. So let me start off with the Jinaka's comment. PO still in PDP and still with Atiku. Of course, we know it's total nonsense. And the good news is we are all going to descend on each of the states in the southeast and the rest of Nigeria. So the real story, the real narrative will be kept at the front burner. By the time we move around, we're just making sure we go around the rest of Nigeria. Some of us, I'm from Anambra, for instance, so we're going to go home and take care of our states. And so be rest assured that this is nothing. They can sell that narrative for all they care, but it's not going to stick. And by the way, the people know already, no matter how much you try to twist things, it is not working, and they're getting frustrated about it. That's why, going to this next comment, people like Reno are getting very frustrated. I see what they do sometimes, like I noted in my Arise interview, is they stir up something that helps to build engagement for them so they can make money off social media. So the intention, they know the right thing. So if you ask me, what do you do about opposition parties sticking to the accord? Call them out, simple. When you see that derailing, forget the fact that they said they're being bullied. They actually the one bullying. When you are on the right thing, saying the right thing, you're not bullying. You're just being factual. So call them out. And then for somebody suggesting we train agents, very important, and that obviously is in the plan. About this issue of collect money and vote, we've already addressed this. There are some places this message may not be right. Don't use it. Where you think is right, use it. Where you think we need to just to make sure we totally discourage people from collecting money, please let's also apply that. The important thing here is let's understand our environment. Let's know what works and let's apply what works. Sometimes you might even just engage the voters themselves, figure out themselves, ask them pointedly, are you convinced it's Peter Obi or Labour Party? What if they give you this, what will you do? So from there, you figure out how best to deal with the issue so that you don't assume that one message can go around everybody. That's not who Nigerians are, who people are. People are individualistic. So figure out what works and apply that. The important thing is that you succeed. That's what's important. Don't give any excuse because we know we will not win money game. We know that even if you decide to do anything, these guys have tons of it. So the idea is to basically discourage people and get people angry enough to go and do the right thing. Let's channel the anger towards the right thing. How you want to achieve that, please do so and come and tell us story. Don't come back and give us excuses. And then on materials for grassroots, we've already responded to that as we receive more support. Those supports are going to be used to basically purchase more materials, and hopefully by the time we get into December, some of these complaints will be minimized. And we're also taking some of this feedback to the campaign council. And then about PO delivering his message, yes, that's what he's very good at. He's everywhere, talking himself. What we simply do sometimes is get some more feedback, arm him with enough feedback, and so that as he engages, he keeps delivering the right message. So don't forget, for instance, there's another town hall meeting for Arise among the 4 top presidential candidates on Sunday, a week from today. So hopefully he'll be there, and hopefully the others may be scared shit from coming. So we'll leave the podium open. I don't think any party will even think of making mistake of bringing any proxy for something called presidential. Live coverages, there's a lot that the media team are planning. I know this may be one of it. So, but we'll take this feedback. We know the importance of this, especially to reach the urban centers. But we will keep also depending a lot on radio and social media. As polls have also shown that these are even more demanded than TV coverages. But live coverage can also help us with social media. And there's a lot of our team who are doing this. Even this Twitter space is being covered live and being streamed on Facebook and YouTube and co. So we will keep improving on that. On having to educate about party without the candidate. Yes, it's important that people know, especially for presidential, that they are voting for Labour Party ultimately. So they're not going to see Peter Obi's name. So I see what you mean by conducting poll. I will also suggest this. But you see, some of these polls being done so far actually were not done by us. It's third parties who just do this independently. But we will try and see how either they do this or we commission us to get proper feedback as to how people will act on election day. On the materials, campaign materials, we've also talked about you were specific about Benue. Many places need campaign materials. We've noted that. And on the message going to the north, yes, message of consumption to production, message of employment, message of engaging the youths, all of those actually going on. There are several of such messages that have been translated in the local languages and being fired on various media, radio in particular. The Ibrahim that spoke earlier is always on radio in different parts of northern Nigeria, and there's several of such. We need to get more people doing so, so that this message can keep permeating down the grassroots, down the local, the hinterlands. So we have noted all of this, and thank you guys.
Okay, thank you very much once again, Mr. Val. We really appreciate that. So real quick, guys, we have lots of people requesting. I really don't know if we can take everybody here on this space, but we will try as much as possible to take as much people as we can. And that is why we need to give 1 minute each to everyone. Please, it's 1 minute, one question, or just a comment for a minute. If it passes 1 minute, I'm sorry, guys, I might have to just cut you off. All right, do you want to say something?
How do you know? How do you know I wanted to say something? Yeah, I want to say something. So I've been getting lots and lots of inquiry about the name of the app that was mentioned by Mr. Val on the program. So I want to give information on that. If you go to obidati.support and scroll down on the website, you see the app. obidati.support. You see Town Hall. The app is there on that website. So obidati.support, you find the Town Hall app on it. Thank you very much. And then maybe I should also say this. There was somebody here whom I mistakenly took off from the platform. His name is Maduka. I'm glad he's back. Maduka, it was an error. Sorry about that, please. You have the opportunity to also speak and contribute to the process. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Oraye. Moving on real quick, I'll pass the mic over to MJ Stark. Hi, MJ.
Hey, Pios, and good evening, Dr. Val, and good evening to everyone on the space. Firstly, I would like to quickly, on behalf of everyone on the space, Mr. Val, I would like you to please send our messages to Peter. We need you to let him know that we love him, we love what he's doing, and we're 100% on board with his messages, and tell him to keep strong, and we are all solidly behind him. All right, now for my question, I just want to double down on what you've already responded to on the comment section. That was actually the main reason why I requested the mic. This is the issue about the PDP, not just in the Southeast. This is like, I have some relatives on ground in the Southeast and also a few friends of mine in the North. People everywhere, all over Nigeria, they now understand that Peter Obi is the candidate that they want to vote for. Now, the likes of the PDP, what they are doing right now is leveraging on that. They don't have anything to sell. So they're just trying to keep brainwashing people, and what I want you to do, Dr. Val, is please, the Southeast, all right? We know that Peter will win in the Southeast. We know that. He's competent and it's his region. So he has every reason, no reason, absolutely no reason not to win. But these guys, they are trying to manipulate people into believing that Peter is still in the PDP. So when we are campaigning in the Southeast, our sensitization, the message must be clear. The party, right now, Peter Obi is going to win this election, all right? But his name won't be on the ballot. The Labour Party will be. So we need to make everyone all over Nigeria to understand that the Peter Obi that they are going to vote for is in the Labour Party as of today. We need to make it impossible for these people who are spinning this narrative of him being in the PDP. We need to kill that idea immediately. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, MJ Stark. I can't but agree more with you. When I say that some of us will go home, it's beyond just going home. There's a lot we are going to do to make sure we leave no stone unturned. There is no way there will be any form of ambiguity whatsoever about the fact that Peter Obi is Labour Party and Labour Party is Peter Obi. And for us also in Anambra, we're going to push it down the other cadres of the, we don't have governorship now, we're going to have Senate, we're going to have House of Reps, and ultimately House of Assembly. We want to make sure Labour Party is delivered across board. So, and some of what we're doing, people will take responsibilities for their areas. And you know what that is, 360-degree responsibility to make sure the right things are done. And trust me also, things that we need to do with media, messaging, all of that will be done. I think where we have a lot more work to do is in the North, which is why a lot of comments we've had today is focused on the North. We will not again overlook every other part of Nigeria. So, but the point is well noted. I agree with you, and we will act on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Val. Real quick, I'll pass the mic over to a lady. Good thing we have a lady on stage right now. Okay, and I'm getting DMs again from people who still cannot see the mic. Like I've said before, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna repeat this again. If you cannot see the mic, it happens. It's a glitch from Twitter. It's not the fault of the space. So you might just want to leave and return. You will find the mic. Over to you, Wamaka. You have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. My name is Maka Okoye from Value Driven Leadership. I just wanted to
I'm
point
sorry,
out.
Wamaka, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Alright, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Mr. Please, we have like 10 minutes of your time in addition to what we have already.
Yes, go ahead. We can add 30 more minutes, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. So the Town Hall app is available on Play Store and the App Store as well, so you can download it onto your phones. I also wanted to say that a lot of people here are from the diaspora, and there's a lot of excitement, and you're wondering what you can do. You can give funds because that would go a long way. You can also lend your influence because Nigerians in diaspora remit tons of funds to family members. And this is the time to also influence those family members to toe the right path because they'll be needing less money when Peter Obi becomes the president of Nigeria. Now, understanding the challenges from given from the diaspora, there are things that you can do. As we understand, you can give to PACs, that's like obidati.support. You can also, if you're in Nigeria, you can give to the Labour Party. You can also give to the campaign, which is obidaticampaign.com. But basically, we really need money so that we can get things done. A lot has happened. A lot of people have been giving and helping and doing wonderful, wonderful things. But this is the time. All of us are here for a time like this, and we've got to bring this home. Thank you.
Let me say this. The person who just spoke, Wamaka, is one of the key leaders within my team. She is doing amazing things. Her and Ibrahim Abdul Karim and a whole lot of team are doing impressive stuff to make sure that we succeed. So I just wanted to appreciate her and her contribution this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Val, and thank you very much, Wamaka, for all you do. We really appreciate that. So real quick now, pass the mic over to Victor. Victor, you've got a minute.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, fellow Nigerians, and good evening, Mr. Val. Okay, quickly, my mind is like more of a submission and also like a question. I thank you for what you guys are doing. And this is to the campaign team. I see our excellency. It goes around, engaging with a lot of people, from the bar association to the accountants and to a lot of town hall meetings. My question is very, very particular with the security agents in the country. I don't know, is there a possibility where we can get him engaged with the security outfits, just the way he's having engagements with some of these professional bodies? Because I know they are like agents of the government of the day, but is there a possibility where, because taking back to rewinding back to the NSAS, I think one of the agendas at the time was to promote the welfare of security outfits in the country. And of course, one of the three legs of elections, one of the most important legs of elections are security, INEC, and the judiciary because of any post-election issue. So my suggestion is there a way that His Excellency can, or is there any plan to engage, with the Nigerian security, for instance, the Nigerian police force, just to give them an assurance of what's to come, just to carry them along because we'll need them pre and post the election. So that's what I'm looking at. So I asked a question. I want to ask a question earlier regarding the peace accord, why election and why parties are not following up with the peace accords. But since you touched on that, I would just like to go further with if there's a way the campaign council can look at engaging the Nigerian police or any of the security outfits to give them a lending hand towards what good governance should look like. Yeah, thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of comments to make on this. First is you would have heard our principal, Peter Obi, talk about how he has sat down with the leadership of each of the agencies, basically trying to understand their frustrations, what is required, listening to them and what can be done. And that's why how he's able to speak very eloquently on what he can do to solve insecurity problem. So I'm saying, therefore, that that engagement already started. And a lot of times, such engagements are not also what you publicize and take pictures and do all that. They're usually quiet because that's what it would demand. Of course, if we need to engage more, of course, that will be done. So we will also take this as an advice. But when you also think about this country, one thing is clear. Nigerians are tired. Let me repeat that again. Nigerians are tired. And this is not just peculiar to those on the streets. Even the police, the army, they're all tired. They know they are victims of bad leadership. And so when they hear P2B talk about, I'm going to have three-tier police system from, federal to state to local, they're excited. When he talks about how to equip them with all the armories and new technology, they're excited. When he talks about how to train them further, they're excited. When he talks about how to equip them better, make sure they're motivated and they're going to be held responsible and accountable, responsive and responsible. So all these are for them music to their ears. Who wouldn't want a more responsible organization? So there's enough already to agitate their mind. There's enough to excite them, and that is already happening. That's why when we went to Port Harcourt, for instance, we saw the police officer saying he's ready to donate his 1 month salary to P2B movement. I am telling you, the security agencies are obedient. Let me just say it clearly, because they are tired of what Nigeria has become. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Pels. Let me just add this to His Excellency. I'm a very big fan of him, and I've known him from the days of his days in Warri. I meant had to be precise, and I just had to chip that in. Thank you, Uncle Val. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Mr. Val. So, real quick now, pass the mic over to Peter Obi Vanguard ambassadors. PO Vanguard, you've got a minute.
All right. Thank you very much, Pearl, and the host, Oraye, and to all that are listening. Thank you for being here, our guest. I have a question that I will direct. The question that relates to the Labour Party contestant or aspirant. I have had not less than reports regarding complaints of these contestants that P2B is not giving them attention and is not actually getting to know what they are facing. And I see this with the same template used over the support group. For the first and second meeting held in Abuja, P2B and his deputy was not there. So I want to know if we have forgotten the role of these elements in this grassroots, or if something is being done about it. Because I felt that this group of teams have not been given a fair hearing. And again, the meetings that our principal have had in Twitter Spaces and of course in Zoom are actually meetings with the obedient community, not the support group. So I want to know what the team is doing to make sure that these people who are on ground, who understand their location or cities, are taken into consideration whenever everything is being done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of discussion on these two areas: engaging the support groups, engaging the candidates. I believe our principal has already started this. The last Twitter space, but one was on this, and he has also made promise. And I know another engagement is being planned. And I'm also aware that some supports are being planned for the support groups. But, I always will tell people, please, what we are doing, and I think Ibrahim said this clearly, we are all working for ourselves. What we are doing, we've done marvelously well already by taking this project to where it is today. What we are doing now is to make sure we take it to the end successfully. The support that may come from the Presidential Campaign Council or from a candidate may not be sufficient to meet the expectations. So let's, kind of moderate our expectations, work hard to sustain the momentum and achieve progress and success in the end. With regards to the candidates, it is important that we make this point. Number one is Peter Obi values, respects the contribution of candidates in this project overall. And I know that a meeting is being planned where he will engage strictly with the candidates going forward. When that would happen, I will have to, there are responsible officers that will plan such meeting and communicate to us. But let me also say that we don't just hope that P2B's movement and momentum will help railroad us into success in our various elections. It is important that we work as hard as we could and actually pretend there is no P2B. So that way you don't give any reason to not win your elections in your various, whether constituency or states, if you're a candidate for governorship or a candidate for either House of Assembly, House of Reps, or Senate. I see people who are firing on, whether there's P2B or they are on ground doing the needful. But because what I actually see, P2B will impact positively on candidates, but that level of impact may differ from one location to another. Some places, the impact may be just 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, I don't know what it is. But you have to now do enough to cover the others. So how do you engage? You can't honestly run for an election without preparedness. As you know, for some of us, when I ran for governorship, for instance, national chairman didn't come for my rally. The former president didn't show up, but I didn't bother. Or they didn't come to campaign for me. A few that came, we just moved on. The important thing here is let them go campaigning, pushing their narrative as though this support won't come, so that eventually when that support comes, it becomes the icing on the cake to make sure that I win handsomely. So the idea of just hoping on P2B to carry everybody, it is not going to be as we expect. We must, number one, do things on our own and moderate our expectations. And then some of us will keep advising and engaging to make sure that that level of support that will come from the candidate, presidential candidate, will eventually ultimately come. And all of that, again, will depend on our ability to mobilize people across board to support financially. We've reeled out all the account numbers, all the handles, URL handles. Let's get our friends and families to massively come on board to support so that we will have sufficient capacity to support the rest of the structure that we need to win this election. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Val, for that. We need to try as much as possible to keep the support organic as it's been from the onset. And how can we do that? Is by ensuring we try as much as possible to put in our own resources. Obida, did you want to mute your mic for me? Thank you. So most times we don't just have to wait for some sort of support to come from, and there's nobody at the top. Trust me, everyone is at the top. So we have to try as much as possible to put in our own resources. Thank you very much. So real quick, let's make it 1 minute. 1 minute is 1 minute. Moving forward, I'll pass the mic over to Habibi. Habibi, are you there?
Hi guys, thank you, Pearl. Okay, good evening, Mr. Ozibo. I have been watching the campaigns, and you guys have been doing a great job so far. But there's a personal observation which I have, and which I feel many people also share, and it's the fact that the Labour Party is not doing enough. And sometimes when members of the party hear this, it's like, oh, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But when critics talk about how everything is too centered on Peter Obi himself, it makes sense because Peter Obi is putting in all the work, like he's working hard 24/7. But the party doesn't seem to be doing enough, because the idea of the concept of the Labour Party is a very unique and novel one. And there are so many things they can put out there, starting with the social media handles. The Twitter handle is not doing enough. There was a time we complained and complained. The handler came back, but what he puts out is not inspiring enough. He or she puts out is not inspiring enough. And there's also this concept, that Nigerians are used to, which we cannot ignore. And it is the fact that these political parties need to have very strong representation across all regions, states, and all of that. Many people that are supporting the other candidates, even the uninspiring candidates, are not supporting them solely because of the presidential candidates. Some of them have people that are in the teams of these presidential candidates, and they are supporting them because, okay, this person from my state is there, this person that is my political leader is there, this person that I look up to is there, so my interests are represented. And that's what a lot of people want to see in the
Okay.
Peter Obi campaign, and they want to see these people coming out there to spread the message, not just Peter Obi himself. Thank you.
Okay, can we also take the two questions from the people who are indicating? There's Obidati and then there's Tio. Then we'll wrap it up.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Obidati, over to you.
Hey, thank you so much for letting me speak. My questions will be really fast. So the town hall app, is it available in, like outside Nigeria? That would be the first one. And then I was going to ask a question about donations, but I got to get the website, from listening to you guys. It's obidati.support, and I was able to donate from there. But the thing is, initially I've been going to the obidaticampaign.com, and there it doesn't allow diaspora to donate. So is that also a campaign? Is it an official site? If it is, why not integrate it to one side so everybody can just donate, from one side and avoid the, back and forth of two different sites? That's another one. And then Aisha Yusufa, she's doing a really good job, promoting the Zenith Bank account numbers, to donate for people in Nigeria, but she's not necessarily adding the Obidati support, link for people in diaspora, because a lot of people in diaspora would not be able to donate with the, Nigerian bank accounts and stuff like that. So it would be nice if she can put that link there. If you're in diaspora, you can, donate from, these websites. I'm talking fast so I can say everything in 1 minute, right? But the next one would be, it's also going to be nice if the manifesto, if Peter Obi at some point, just gives us or them the manifesto, so we lay that one to rest. Also, his security. We've seen, cases where he's just walking around with no security. Maybe you guys have some secret service people walking around him, but a lot of us have been asking that question. If you can assure us that, yeah, everything is good, I think people will stop asking those questions. And then I think that's my last one. Thank you. Yeah, I just had to do a rapid fire.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
thank
much,
you so
Obidati.
Thank you so much. And let me also appreciate Habibi for his earlier counsel. And Obidati, one of the reasons why it took us forever to even set up an account for support, because we just wanted to be cautious and play by the rule. So there's this debate whether we're allowed to collect and get support from diaspora. They target foreign support, and campaign is not allowed to do so. And if you do so, you have to declare to. So that's why, we are soliciting for local Naira support. And that's why the account numbers Aisha Yusufu is reeling out are for the campaign, because we want to comply. Unless we have legal advice to the contrary, we have had to disable possibility of card payments and all that for the campaign council. That's precisely the reason. So what Obi Dati of support is doing is also endorsed by our candidates. So feel free. It is an act. It's not basically part of campaign, but there's a lot of these support groups who also come doing different things to voter education and all that. When we see what they're doing is complementary, we encourage them to keep doing so. That way, it is not within the forte of the campaign council, and we're not bound by the limitation. So I want you to understand the reason. So you can go to support the Labour Party. The URL is provided, labourparty.com.ng. You can strictly go to support the campaign council by either transfers or when you go to obidaticampaign.com. Or there are other supports that, when people are doing support in kind, support in these other ways, you can go to obidati.support and especially enroll in the town hall. And you ask if it's available in the diaspora. It will give you option to indicate your state of residence and all that. So if you're a Nigerian living in the diaspora, you can afford to register with your local details. So if you know your polling unit, that way you can contribute in the discussion happening in your polling unit or your ward. And so you can be part of that, even from diaspora. It doesn't, because you are, because it's already available on the app, I believe there's no limitation globally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that response. Over to you, Theo. I'll take 2 or 3 people at once and then let Mr. Valentine respond. So, Theo, let's go.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pels. Thank you very much, Mr. Val. It's a rare privilege to be able to speak with you. I've come to admire you since you contested for Anambra governorship last year. So mine is a suggestion on strategy in the north. Mr. Peter Obi has talked extensively about turning the vast land in the north into agricultural farms. And I'm suggesting if he can hold town hall meetings with farmers in the north. I mean, he could do it zonally with northwest farmers, northeast farmers, or across the states. He could probably integrate that as part of his campaign when his campaign starts in the north. I'm looking at a situation where those farmers are made to take ownership of the campaign there. They should be made to realize the economic benefits they will derive from Mr. Peter Obi becoming president. This campaign, the ownership of this campaign has been taken up by the youth, and I want the farmers there to also do the same, because by the time he becomes president, their economic fortune will be boosted, and then Nigeria will be able to achieve food sustainability. He could also do similar town hall meetings with northern youths, women leaders, and clerics, and other opinion molders in the north. That way, those leaders will be able to disseminate PO's message down to the grassroots. The other thing I want to talk about is...
I'm sorry, Theo, do you want to land in 30 seconds?
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that quickly. I remember there was a time PO had a press conference in Kano, and the governorship candidate in Kano interpreted his interview. If the recorded interview could be played regularly in BBC Hausa and other top radio stations in the north, that would be great, repeatedly, so that this message will continue to penetrate. Because I realized that northerners use radios more. The next year poll suggested that most of the people got information about the candidates through radio. And also, the last thing I want to ask: are you people studying the next year poll? Are you implementing the findings of that poll? That's the last thing I want to ask. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Theo. Over to you, real quick, Ishan Forson.
Good evening.
You've got 1 minute, please.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. Valentine. Okay, what I want to ask is my most of my problems are sorted out because you said that people are going to be traveling for Christmas and those things have been needed and flags can be printed and distributed to the houses. My own problem is I trust politicians. I trust you people. Please, Mr. Peter Obi should be protected. He should sometimes you be withheld from the media and all that. That's my own. I trust my leader. That's just my own problem. It should be protected, and I trust you people to do what is best. And for our home base, my own home base, you have talked about it. During Christmas, those things will be sorted and information will be disseminated. That's my own. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. I think with that, we should be wrapping up. Mr. Val, you can now respond, please.
All right, thank you so much. Again, a lot of comments that were made were basically advisory. I've taken notes, and we will react accordingly. One of them was reminding us of the recommendations of next year poll. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do from the polls, especially in the northwest and northeast, which also we've seen clearly that even in those zones, our performance is improving, especially in the urban areas, but there's a lot more that will be required in the rural communities. So yes, we are paying close attention to those recommendations. And there was also a suggestion for town hall meetings with farmers in the north. This is a fantastic advice. Incidentally, we started this already, not from the level of the principal. Some of our team actually held town hall just 3 days ago on Thursday in Kaduna with farmers. And the feedback has been exhilarating. It's been wonderful. There's a huge pledging of support to this campaign just on the back of that town hall. So it is a suggestion we will escalate up to the level of our principal and the running mate, Dati Baba Ahmed. So so I want to just, I don't know if there's still any more comment before I round up now.
So please round up.
Sahid, if I may be recognized.
What was that?
The name is Sahid. I couldn't raise my hand. Calling from the diaspora. Can I be recognized?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, Uncle Val, and well done to everyone. Good hosting, Ore Appel. I just want to use this opportunity to re-echo that it's no longer, a question of whether or not the community or the citizens, are favoring the candidacy of Peter Obi. We're 90 days out, and right now it's about the numbers. Of course, the Labour Party, has basically put a lot in place, but a lot also came to them, and is moving pretty fast. I just want to first encourage that the Labour Party should consider adopting, this kind of platform with reference to the host. If this could actually be done on a daily basis across the different regions, that would actually help. That could also lead to mobilizing, local community leaders. Some of the names that have been mentioned or the regions have been mentioned on the platform this evening about individuals and areas to be reached. Perhaps we could try to find a way to consolidate some of those names, and those individuals should actually be invited and actually featured as guests, to speak to their various local communities across, the different areas of the country. With regards to INEC, I'm not sure if the policy on ground allows for them to disclose to parties how many accredited and registered voters do we actually have distributed by regions. That information, it's important for the Labour Party to have it. so they can actually be able to know to some degree how they can influence, some of the youth voice as well as other well wishes to vote in favor of their candidate. And lastly, we're now leaving the stage where it's all about social media. It's important for the Labour Party to encourage its members to actually stay away from any issues that could actually compromise the effort and the obvious. The diaspora community is looking very closely at what's going on. I want to believe that the Labour Party is also speaking to international communities. This is the time to try to galvanize and let us know if there's anything we can actually do specifically with the international government, and especially here in the United States, whatever pressure we can put on our government locally here to ensure that the likes of INEC follows through on the outcome. And once we have documented information, which of course can be captured via social media and what have you, we'll be able to bring to justice and bring to book any compromise that might have actually occurred. So again, just to appreciate and encourage you all, but at this hour, it should be focused on grassroots. Let's mobilize, let's encourage the people and build the boldness of people to step out on that day. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you. In fact, I think you've just given the closing remarks. I was almost not understanding what you were saying because of the beauty of your delivery. you know, that's how I also struggle to understand pearls sometimes. Because of a wonderful voice, sometimes I can lose track of what the person is saying. Anyway, your points are well noted, and your charge is also well noted. And it's actually on that basis I want to appreciate everyone for this time, this night, this sacrifice, your inputs, your quest and actions for a better Nigeria, your demand for the new possibilities, whatever you guys are doing in your various respects, please keep it on. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. We have by far the best candidates, and we should be proud of what we have. Yes, there's no perfection in anything we do, but we have enough to encourage ourselves. We are already very close to winning. Just a few more months and it's over. And we will, trust me, for those who don't know me, I'm a master in celebration. So we will do this. We will obviously understand there's a lot of work to be done and go straight to work, but we also have to pat ourselves in the back and say, wow, so this was possible. A lot of people never imagined this kind of thing is possible. I can tell you, we are very close to touching victory. And please, lose no hope. Don't relent. Double your effort. Do what you need to do to make sure we recover and redeem this Nigeria. We will be remembered for a long time as a set of people who said enough was enough. And we called, out the authorities. We did everything we had to do. We marched on the street. We followed the rules. We campaigned the best. We took over the social media. We led the biggest, movement known to mankind in this world, because that's what we have. So with that, I'm encouraging everyone to keep doing the right things. And then also, let's take charge. At the end of the day, every single one of you must take responsibility for your polling units, or for sets of polling units, or for your ward, depends on your capacity. Just make sure you deliver, because that will be your bragging right when we win. In fact, we will be so methodical to check how you performed. So it's not about rhetorics, it's not about stories. Go and make sure you deliver. I want to, for instance, make sure my local government is the best performing local government in Anambra State. I'm challenging every other person who's, yes, you may be a big man, go and show your bigness in your polling unit and your wards, in your local government. That's how we want people to go home and deliver. So please, everybody take charge, take responsibility, and make sure you deliver. And delivery means that if there are 500 votes in your polling unit, you're giving us 400 votes, you're giving us 450 votes, you're giving us 300 votes. Depends on your level of achievement. We will be able to recognize, appreciate, and applaud you. And for those who can, donate to this cause. Donate daily, donate monthly, donate whatever you can do to make sure that you support aggressively this project. It is worth it. It's an investment for a lifetime. It's the investment that will change the trajectory of Nigeria. And it's also an investment that will ensure that the narrative of a common man, of the black man in this world, is changed permanently. With Nigeria on the right threshold, not just Nigeria will record what we have done today. Africa will come to the same conclusions that Nigeria, being the country that's been awaited. Somebody was telling me about how Rwanda is becoming the Singapore of Africa. And I said to him, wait until we get on board. Wait until you see what Peter Obi has in plans for Nigeria. And when that is unleashed, trust me, the rest of the African continent, there's nothing you can do in any part of Africa that will, create the vibe. It's only when Nigeria is on the right track, it can begin to pull the rest of Africa. So what is at stake is important, is too much. What is at stake is too much. We are all fighting for ourselves. We are not working. Peter Obi becomes the symbol of our fight, of our struggle, but we are all fighting for ourselves. And this is why nobody can discourage us. Nothing can discourage us. No matter how imperfect things are, we have to take ownership and know we're doing this for ourselves. I am not working for Peter Obi. I'm working for Valentine, but my generation, my family. And Peter Obi is going to be president, yes, but guess what? At the end of the day, we are going to be proud to say that Nigeria has changed forever. That is enough incentive for us to do what we need to do. And like I say, we need to encourage a lot more people to donate. Go to the handles shared by Aisha Yusufu. You can see that clearly. There are several banks, not just Zenith, there's Global, there's Heritage. All of these are ways you can donate. Transfer money there. And if you are card dependent, if you're hoping that you want to use your cards and all that, you can also go to Obidati.support and lend your support there. So it's on that note, I want to say a big thank you to all of you. I want to thank the hosts, Oraye and Pearls and Jamilu. I wouldn't hear too much of Jamilu. I think network wouldn't let him. And thank you to all the speakers and all the people who have stayed course to the end of this. And also Aziza for all you do at the background. God bless you. And please keep the moment on, keep the momentum on, keep the fight on. We will not stop until victory is assured. God bless you all. Thank you.
God bless you all. Thank you very much. Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, it's been an honor to have you on our program. And you've summarized the issues very brilliantly, and you've also made our closing note very easy. So I want to thank everyone who participated in this conversation, and thank you for your time and sacrifices.